So here's an example. So I've done this for you before. I've drawn these kind of guys out. So we have an aluminum atom that comes in a single form here. And when that reacts, it comes in a diatomic form, or bromine, right? Bromine's a diatomic molecule. It always travels in partners because it's lonely. And when it makes aluminum bromide, it's going to look like this. Okay, so there's 2 aluminums and 6 bromines. So we have to account for that. So really what's going to happen is, I mean, you don't have 1 aluminum making 2 aluminums, right? So you have to start with 2 aluminums. And you can't have 2 bromines making 6 bromines. You have to start with 6 bromines. So how we balance equations is we account for this. And you don't have to draw it out every time. You can use large numbers called coefficients. And you can put those large numbers up here in front of the equation. So you can say, okay, there's 2 aluminums reacting here, and that's going to produce the product. And you can say there's 3 bromines here, because 3 times 2 is 6. And that's going to balance our equation out. And so you're going to make one of those products. So you can see you start with 2 aluminums, you end up with 2 aluminums. You start with 6 bromines now you end up with 6 bromines. So the equation's balanced. So what you can do is you can put a 1 in here showing, okay, well, I actually did balance that out. So here's some steps to follow in order to balance an equation. So you want to make sure that you have an equation that has the correct formula written. You're probably going to be given an equation like this one. And so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and write all the atoms that are listed there underneath the arrow. That's going to be the easiest way to start. And then to start balancing, you're going to count up the atoms of each element on each side of the equation. So on the left side here, I have 1 magnesium. On the right side here, I have 1 magnesium. On the left side here, I have 2 O's. On the right side, I have 1 O. So right now we don't have a balanced equation. So we want to balance it. And the way we do that is we add those big numbers to make up for any shortages. So here's what we start with. And what we want to do is we want to say to ourselves, okay, so right now we have 2 O's on the left and only 1 O on the right. So what times 1 equals 2? And of course you would say 2, right? So you're going to put a 2 in front of this whole thing, okay? And then you're going to need to adjust the totals accordingly. So if I put a 2 in front of this whole thing, that means I'm going to have 2 magnesium and 2 oxygens, okay? So that means that my equation is not balanced now. So I fix my O's, but I mess up my magnesiums. And that's the one thing you have to get over, is that you're going to have to mess things up in order to fix some things, okay? So then we need to add another big number. So, okay, so now we have 2 magnesiums on the right and 1 magnesium on the left. So what times 1 equals 2? Of course, 2. So you're going to put a 2 in front of your magnesium and adjust the totals again. So then we just change this 1 to a 2. And so now we see if the sides are equal. And they are, okay? So we have 2 and 2. That's balanced. We have 2 and 2. That's balanced. So now we can say we have a balanced equation. So try these 2 and see what you can do. So you write the atoms that appear underneath the arrow. So we have sodium atoms and we have chlorine atoms. You count them up. On the left side we have 1 sodium and 1 chlorine. On the right side we have 1 sodium and 1 chlorine. Okay. So now to balance. Well, our sodiums are already balanced, our chlorines are not, so we need to fix that. So we say to ourselves, okay, we have 2 on the left and we have 1 on the right, so what times 1 is 2? Of course 2, so we put a 2 in front of there. we want to adjust our totals. So we now have 2 sodium and 2 chlorine. So we fixed our chlorines, we messed up our sodiums. Not a problem, we just have to fix them. So we say to ourselves, what times 1 is 2 again? Of course, 2. Throw a 2 in front of there, adjust our totals. And we check everything, and it's balanced. The next one's a little more challenging. We have aluminums and oxygens. Okay, count them up. We have 1 aluminum and 2 oxygens. 2 aluminums and 3 oxygens on the right. So this is a little more challenging to fix. So when you have 2 and 3, obviously there's nothing I can multiply by 2 to make 3, and there's nothing I can multiply by 3 to make 2. So can you figure out how we might fix it? So we're going to have to multiply the 2 by 3 to get 6, and multiply 3 by 2 to get 6. Let me show you how it works. So I'm going to put a 2 in front of this one. Okay, I'm going to adjust my totals. So now I have 2 times 2. That's 4 aluminum. And 2 times 3, that is 6 oxygen. Well, you might be thinking, I really haven't fixed anything at this point. And you would be correct to a point, okay? But now I come on this side and I fix everything, okay? So now I have 4 aluminum, so 4 times 1 is 4. And now I need to fix my oxygens. What times 2 is 6? 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So now I check everything.